Hi, did you miss me? Because I missed you guys. Sorry for being so on and off with my videos. It's just been a crazy couple months for me right now. I didn't realize I'd be working so much. I didn't really know how much commitment I was going to do. And then I seem to always say yes to things and just get pulled every which way. And well, it's just been crazy. But welcome back. Today is True Crime Tuesday. And I got a good one for you guys today. Let me tell you. We got vampires. We got nipple biting. We got murder. We got all your favorite things here on True Crime Tuesday. So I just want to thank each and every one of you guys for coming on here and watching my videos and loving them and supporting me. It's been great. And for you guys who don't know, and this is your first time, my name is MacLean, and I'm here every Tuesday and Thursdays, except for last week, because I was too overwhelmed. But I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday to give you guys a true crime that has happened here in Canada, and I tell you the story while I do my makeup. And I'm so happy that you guys are here. I'm having troubles with my light just because the sun decided to come out, but I'm excited about this one. So let's get right into this one. Let's get right into Wayne Clifford Bowden. Wah, 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 wah. So let's jump right into this crazy guy. So Wayne Clifford Bowden was a Canadian serial killer and rapist. Two of the best combinations out there, because you can't really have one without the other. So he is a Canadian rapist, and he was active from 1986 to 1971. He earned the nickname the Vampire Rapist because after he was done mutilating and killing the people and sexually assaulting the corpses, he would do this little thing, his signature move, where he would bite around the nipples. Just a little nipple biter. He would, not just the nipples, he would pretty much chew up the whole breast. Eat it like kimasabe. And then that was his signature move. So that's how he got the vampire rapist. Which, to be fair, I don't understand that name at all. I'm pretty sure vampires drain blood, not bite nipples, but that's just me. If you know something else about a vampire story where they're nipple biters, let me know, and then I can put two and two together. But to me, the vampire rapist sounds like somebody who drains somebody's blood, not bite their nipples. You let me know, though, if I'm crazy on this one. So another cool thing about this case is this is one of the first cases where they used this type of evidence to catch someone. And the only other serial killer that they used this evidence for was Ted Bundy. So this was quite a while before Ted Bundy was convicted. Because Ted Bundy was 1990s, I could be wrong. Well, this guy was 1971. So they used the evidence of his teeth marks to convict him of these murders. And it was the first time in North America that they did that, which was super cool. So his first murders were in Montreal, which I don't know about you guys, but I seem to think that Montreal, BC, and Ontario are crazy places to live because that's where all serial killers are. That's where they live. They're always there. It seems like I was struggling to find one in Alberta. I was struggling to find them anywhere else, but Ontario and Quebec, they breed serial killers in Canada, which is cool, I guess, if you're from there. So on October 3rd, 1969, Shirley was found dumped at the rear of her apartment building complex in downtown Montreal. Although she was fully clothed, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. Well, the dead body is out of the ordinary, but on her didn't seem out of the ordinary. So she was fully clothed, but she was determined to be raped and strangled, and showed that there was bite marks, you guessed it, around her breastises area. So he bit there, ate him up. I don't know. They didn't really get into it if he took chunks out, or if he just like a beaver, when you see beavers cutting down trees. That's just how I envision the breasts, so the trees that have been cut down by beavers. So I don't know if he was just doing that, or if he was actually going hard and just ripping them to shreds. While they examined Shirley's body, they noticed that there was no sign of a struggle when it came to her. They noticed that she didn't have anything under her fingernails. She didn't seem like she really fought back due to the fact of just like the way the body was and how she was. It seemed like she probably knew the victim. Not the victim. She knew the killer. So that's what they kind of determined through that. One of Shirley's ex-boyfriends told the police that he believed that she was involved with a guy who was like kind of more dominant. And that was, I guess, unusual for her. She likes the submissive men. And that he was thinking that they were kind of like into some rough and dangerous type of sexual intercourse, which is like, fair. Whatever anyone wants to do, they should do it. No shame here. We don't shame people here on this channel. We just wonder. That's it. We just wonder. So he thought that she was kind of getting into something dangerous. He wasn't 100% sure. He didn't know who the guy was or what his name was. And he never mentioned the name of the new boyfriend. And based on the interview, the police have kind of figured out that this killer had an attraction for girls and wanted to accept. He only was attracted to people who were into rough intercourse and stuff like that. So I guess that's what they kind of determined, this guy, which is that's not going to get you anywhere or find anyone. Oh, it's the person who's a killer likes rough sex. That could be anyone. What does he look like, So Wayne's next victim was MacLean. So on November 23rd, I just loaded my face there. That's not going to be good. So on November 23rd, a jewelry clerk named Marlena left work with her new man after closing, and she introduced her new man as Bill to her co-workers, and who afterwards remarked that she seemed very, oh Lord, look at this. I don't want to show you guys. Oh my God. So afterwards, they said that she seemed very happy with this new gentleman, that she's very smitten with him, that, when you first start dating someone, you're touchy-feely, you're kind of in the honeymoon stage. They kind of said that's what they seemed like. They were very much in the honeymoon stage of their relationship, and they all really liked the guy named Bill. So when she did not report to work the following morning, they kind of little suspicious, it was she's known to come to work on time. She's known to do everything. She's a pretty good worker. She's never late. Where is she? So the employees went to go check on her at her apartment and to see if she was ill, and maybe that's the reason why she didn't show up to work. She just forgot to call in. So when they got there, they had to get the landlady to help them get in, and then they discovered her naked body under a blanket on the living room floor. However, it appeared that she put up a struggle against this assailant at the time. She really, unlike the last one, she put up a fight. She was not today, right? And she put up a fight. So as shown by the wreckage and the state of the apartment, which is no one reported that. You think that if this girl was a pretty chill girl who didn't do much, that maybe the noise from her apartment might have given something away, but I don't know. I feel like people should have reported that if they heard that, but I guess they didn't in Montreal. So the killer ripped her pantyhose and bra, raped her, and left her his teeth marks on the breast again. So went to town on her breast. The police were able to find a crumpled up photograph in the wreckage in the apartment, which they identified as the mystery Bill. They brought the photo back to her work and was is this the guy that she was with? And they found out it was. So getting somewhere, right? Slowly. So they found the photo. They found out it was the mystery Bill. And despite the apparent break where they're like, okay, we got this. Never successfully found someone. They never actually like caught anyone that was even close to resemblance. There was no suspect. Even though it was a like police sketch based on this photo, nothing. So Wayne was kind of getting away with it, feeling a little cocky, you know, like he's out killing people, not a problem, not phased. He's getting away with the murders. So he's like, you know, cloud nine in it, right? So at this time, he decided that he was going to kill his next victim. But after his last kill, he didn't kill anyone until 2 months after. So he kind of went into hiding, kind of was like, just, I'm going to wait it out a bit, which is probably why they didn't find him once they put this sketch out, because they were like, oh, because he went into hiding, which was like smart on his part, but not smart and didn't help the cops at all, right? So that was kind of shitty, I guess, but whatever. So he went into hiding for 2 months and then decided to come back and do what he does best, which is murder people. So on January 16th, 1970, the boyfriend of, I think it's Jean, the boyfriend of Jean, Way, 24, came to pick her up for a scheduled date at her apartment building and on Lincoln Street of Montreal. When she didn't answer the door, he decided that he was just gonna like come back a little bit later, but it's like a scheduled date. So like, I know if I had a scheduled date with my husband, now that we live together, it's a little different, but if he came to pick me up and I didn't answer, like, it's a little sketchy, but whatever. So he came to pick her up for a scheduled date, and she didn't pick up. She didn't open the door, so he was like, okay, see ya, right? Don't care. Peace out. So he dipped on her, and I'm going to try this new highlighter. Did that do anything? Did that do anything? No. Cool. So he decided to come back later. So upon returning to her apartment, he found the door was unlocked. He found her naked body on the sofa. Her breasts had been chewed all over. It seemed that the killer was there the whole time. So while he was like, I'll come back, she was getting murdered. So I would feel like complete crap if that was me. Like, could you imagine going to pick up your girlfriend? Oh, she must just be busy. I'll come back. You come back, she dead. She was murdered. The murderer was with her the whole entire time. You could have stopped it, but you didn't. I would be pissed. So again, I am winging it with the eye look today because I have no clue what I want to do. So again, upon returning to the house, he found that the door was open, and then that's when he found the dead body of his girlfriend that he was seeing, which is kind of really sad. So the killer was in the apartment the whole entire time when he was knocking, so technically he could have like saved her life and didn't, but that's beside the point. So the autopsy done by Dr. Jean Paul found 2 small fibers under the fingernails of her left hand, indicating that, contrary to legend, the victim had indeed struggled against her assailant. So she did put up a fight, which is like, good job, girl. You know, if you don't want to die, you're going to do everything you possibly can to not die. So they did find that there was fibers underneath her nails, and that she put up a pretty good strong fight against her assailant. So the resulting publicity of the murders and how they kind of resembled the other murders put the city in an uproar. People were not happy. People were scared. People didn't know what was going on. Like, it was a scary time for people living in Quebec. They didn't know what was going on. So it put the city in fear. People didn't know, locking the doors. It was getting a little out of hand. 3 women died. All had the same type of markings. All had their nipples bitten off. Like, they knew that there was a serial killer on the loose in Quebec, and no one knew who he was. There was no leads. There was nothing. So, but it turned out that Jane Ray's murder was the last in that city altogether. So he dipped. He left. He's like, you know what? It's getting a little too hot here. People are going to stop figuring out it's me. I don't know if he actually said this or if this is what he thought, but he kind of realized that like he's going to have to move on because you can't really just keep staying there because you never know what's going to happen, right? So he disappeared only to turn up another 2,500 miles to the west more than a year later. That's crazy. So his next victim's name is Elizabeth. So Elizabeth lived in Calgary. Let me see if I can figure out what I want to do. So Elizabeth lived in Calgary. She was a 33-year-old high school teacher. She did not report to work one morning on May 18th, 1971. So because she didn't do this, they kind of did like the same thing that they did with the other girl. And they decided that someone's going to have to go check on her. Her apartment manager was called and they found her body on the bedroom floor, as with the other victims that he had in the past too. So it was kind of like, you know, a common theme with him. So they found her apartment. They found her body on the apartment floor, and it showed that she struggled. It was another one of the big deals where she struggled. She was raped. She was strangled. Her breasts were likewise mutilated with bite marks, which is like, that sounds like Wayne, you know? But this is in Canada. This is in Calgary, so this is pretty far away. And I don't know 110% if like Canada is like the States in the sense because I know in the States when it comes to like state to state, if like somebody goes across state and kills someone, it kind of like fucks them up. I didn't mean to swear, sorry for swearing. It kind of like, there's like a battle of the turf. Like when I talked about Robert Picton, when he was doing it, since he was in Vancouver and the federal RCMP had to get involved, there was kind of a pissing match because neither one of them really wanted to give up jurisdiction of their area. So the Vancouver police didn't want to, and then the RCMP was like, well, you kind of have to if you want to get us involved. So it was kind of like, you know, a pissing war. Well, I kind of don't know how this is, if they're like, oh, that sounds like the same case that kind of went down in Quebec. So during the investigation of this case, while they were in her apartment building, they started noticing that there was a cuffling underneath her body. So a cuffling is like just towards when you try to button up like a suit, I'm assuming. It's the one that's like down here. So there was one underneath her body. So they took that and they're like, okay, let's see if we can find the matching cuffling. So the investigation of the murder, the police were able to find out that two of her colleagues had seen her at a stoplight riding in a blue Mercedes on the night that she died. So that was interesting to police, a blue Mercedes. Like, this guy has money. I don't know, I think of Mercedes and I think of money. That's me, though. I don't know if everyone does. So they were looking for this blue Mercedes at this point now. And they did report that it had a pretty distinct bull shaped decal on the front of its hood. So I don't think there's that many blue Mercedes zipping around Calgary. I could be completely wrong, but I could also be right. Also, a friend of the victim also reported that Elizabeth was seeing a new boyfriend, and that he He was kind of a flashy dresser with neat short hair. Clearly, there was a link between Elizabeth's death and the murders in Montreal. I still don't know if the RCMP kind of linked that together yet, or the Calgary police, because I know it's a Calgary police. I don't know when the Calgary police came into effect, if they were always there or not, I don't know. So there is a link, though. Everyone can see that there's a link. There's a guy going around biting nipples and such, you know, like, pretty obvious. So the following day, on May 16th, the blue Mercedes was spotted outside of Elizabeth's house. So that's neat. So they spotted it where she was murdered. So Bowden, a former fashion model, was arrested half an hour later as he tried to get into his car after leaving her apartment building. This is always the hardest part, doing my under eye. The following day, on May 19th, oh no, it's the same day, my bad. I am losing my mind trying to do this under eye thing. So as he was arrested, he told police that he moved from Montreal a year previously and admitted that he had been dating Elizabeth. Oh, there we go. So he admitted to dating Elizabeth, and he admitted that he did see her that night. So he said both. He's like, you know what? We were dating, and I was over at her house the night that she was murdered. Well, I don't even know why he said that. And that his cuffling was broken. He said that was his cuffling that they found. And that he is the guy. So the detectives like took him in right away, right? They're like, okay, if he's admitting ownership to the cuffling, admitting being with her, we should like take this guy in to interrogate him and do his, to see if he has anything else to say. The police in Calgary were in possession of a copy of the photograph that they found with, I think it was the lady in the jewelry shop. Remember how they found a photo of her significant other that they think was the murderer? So they have a possession of the photo that they got out of the apartment building, and Bowden resembled the man in the picture. They held him on suspicion of murder of Elizabeth. Then they turned their attention to the marks of the victim's breast. And this is how they got the guy. So this is when it kind of started getting interesting, and when they used the information of the bite marks to get him into custody and to convict him of murder. So the police turned to a local orthopedics surgeon. Gordon was his name. And we wanted to prove the marks on Elizabeth's breast and neck were from Bowden. So they really wanted to prove that these were from Bowden, and he was 100% the murderer. So just to verify that they were left by Bowden, and they could actually have some concrete evidence that he is the one. So since in Canada at the time, there was nothing in the Canadian forensic literature on bite mark evidence. So Gordon wrote to the FBI hoping for any type of information that he could get on such a thing. So the FBI directed him to Hoover, who was directed him to England, where he met a man who dealt with 20 or 30 cases involving bite marks. So eventually Gordon was able to get information he needed and based a cast on Bowden's teeth. He demonstrated 29 points of similarities between the bite marks that he did with the casting on Bowden and the bite marks on Elizabeth's body. This evidence was significant in the jury and for his trial on Elizabeth's murder, and which they sentenced him to life in prison after that. So they got him good there. So Bowden at this time was returned to Montreal after he was convicted of murder of Elizabeth in Calgary. So he was convicted, he was sent to Montreal and faced trial where he confessed to 3 of the related murders. He denied the murder of another lady. She died around the same time. She was a 21-year-old student on July 23rd, 1986. Bowden had been suspected of that homicide as well, but in 1994, Raymond was convicted of the crime and sentenced to 10 years in prison because Bowden didn't do it, which is like kind of okay, I guess, but he's still a serial killer. So Bowden was sentenced to 3 additional life terms, and he was sentenced to the Kingston Penitentiary, where he began serving his life sentence on February 16, 1972. And in 1977, while Bowden 5 years into his life sentence, American Express granted him a credit card, which he used while out on day passes from prison. He escaped, and then 36 hours later, he was recaptured. I feel like a lot of these serial killers escape from prison, and then they get captured again and get let out. But this one doesn't get let out. So he was captured later while eating lunch in a restaurant by the Mountie Royal Hotel in downtown Montreal. 3 prison guards were disciplined, and the American Express conducted an investigation to find out why a prisoner who is serving a life sentence got a card. So that was weird. Bowden actually died at the Kingston Regional Hospital on March 27, 2006 of skin cancer after being confined in a hospital for 6 weeks. He just finally kicked the bucket. So I'm going to go put on my lashes, and I'll come back and I will tell you guys my final thoughts about this case, okay? I'll be back. All right, I am back. So I put my lashes on. I'm actually not mad at this. A little bit of a purple under, a little brown on the top. I think it kind of turned out pretty cute. So my final thoughts, and I'm sorry about this lighting, so my final thoughts about this case. I forgot to put my mic in. So my final thoughts about this case is, this was another one where it was like, they caught the guy, they had him, he's good. Where I find a lot of the cases like Robert Pickton or Clifford Olson, they're like, oh, we think it's him, but we really just, we gotta wait a bit, wait for him to kill a couple more people before we can actually get him. And then we're gonna have a pissing war about who's gonna get him. Like, I find that is annoying. Where this case was like, we got him, he's going to jail forever, and then he died, which is like perfect. I didn't mean to say perfect, but it's perfect. So I like this case just due to the fact that it was like, we got him, he's in jail. Darcy and Pete did what they're supposed to do. The other thing I don't like is the name, the vampire killer, just because he bit their nipples. Like, can somebody explain that to me? Why is he a vampire for biting the nipples? Aren't you a vampire if you drink the blood? If you drink the blood, yeah, 100% he's a vampire killer. Biting the nipples, probably would have named him like something completely else. I don't have a name at all at this point, what I could name him, but I would have named him that. So again, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for coming out and watching my videos. It means a world to you. I know I've been putting some teasers out on my Instagram and stuff, and I have decided that I am now making candles for my Thriller Thursdays. So every Thriller Thursday, there will be a new candle that comes out with a new scent, and it's going to be named after the video that we did. So hopefully on Thursday I have my candles made, ready to go, and I will show you. Each candle is going to be $10. So if you'd like one, please give me a shout out. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook, follow me wherever. I link all my socials down below. Again, please like and follow. Every like and follow is great. It supports me. You guys have been doing so great with that. I have 85 subscribers right now. Thank you guys for subscribing. It means the world to me. So again, my name is Jordan MacLean. If you can, like and subscribe to this video. And also down below, there's a little bell, which if you click on that, it will give you a notification that shows every time I post, you guys will get a notification so you won't have to miss a video. And I will see you guys next Thursday. Thank you. Bye.